Dear child, before we go any deeper, breathe and hear this gently. This is a spiritual reflection, not a prediction. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. I'm only here to hold up a mirror for what your heart has been sensing in quiet moments. Those moments when you feel something tugging at you for no logical reason, when you can't explain why their energy keeps returning, and yet it does. And the angels, they don't shout, they don't force, they simply guide you into truth with soft persistence, the kind that settles in your chest and refuses to be ignored. Dear child, I feel it. Something has been unleashed, not in a chaotic way, but in a holy way. Like a sealed door has finally cracked open, like the universe has stopped negotiating with their avoidance. The angels guided you here because you've been carrying questions you don't say out loud. You've been trying to act normal while your spirit keeps whispering, something is happening and it's not finished. And I want you to know, you're not too sensitive. You're not imagining it. You're feeling what's real beneath the surface. There are longings that don't come from loneliness. There are longings that come from recognition. The kind that shows up even when your life is busy, even when you're trying to move forward, even when you've told yourself you're done. And the angels say the reason it keeps returning is because this isn't just a memory. This is a chord. This is something that touched their spirit in a place no one else reached. And it's now demanding honesty from them. I need you to hear the truth of what the angels are saying. They can't think straight anymore, not because they're weak, not because they're dramatic, but because what they felt with you wasn't ordinary, and their soul knows it. They can do the daily routine. They can smile. They can talk to people. They can scroll. They can even laugh. But there's a part of them that goes quiet the moment your name rises in their mind. And your name rises more than they admit, more than they wanted to. They can't focus the same. They can't breathe the same. And it scares them because they didn't plan for this. They didn't plan to feel undone. They didn't plan for your voice to become an echo in their chest. They didn't plan for your presence to follow them into dreams, into random moments, into the space between conversations. But here they are, trying to hold the mask steady while their inner world is shaking. And the angels say, this is getting serious, not in a loud, messy way, in a deep way, in a way that changes a person from the inside out. They didn't mean to fall like this. They didn't mean to care this deeply. They didn't expect the bond to stay alive in the silence. But silence didn't cut it. Silence only gave the love more room to grow roots. They've tried to move on. They've tried to act cold. They've tried to be logical. They've tried distractions, noise, people, activity, new plans, shallow comfort. But nothing satisfies, nothing replaces, nothing compares. Because the truth is, what they felt with you wasn't something they created with their mind. It was something that happened to them, like heaven touched a nerve, and the angels keep repeating this phrase over them. Stop running from what is sacred, because every time they push away, the pull comes back stronger, not to torment them, but to reveal them, not to punish them, but to wake them up. They remember things you've already forgotten. They replay your words like a song they can't turn off. They go back to old messages and stare longer than they should, like they're trying to re-enter a moment that felt safe. They look at your photos and feel something tighten in their chest, like regret and desire are fighting for the same space. And in private, where no one can witness their unraveling, they whisper prayers they never knew how to pray before. That's why scripture feels like it keeps finding them, like Song of Solomon rising in their spirit, even if they don't fully understand why. That verse about seeking the one their soul loves in the night, it's not just poetry to them anymore. It's their reality, because night is when the distractions stop. Night is when the performance ends. Night is when the truth shows up, sits on their chest, and says, "You can't hide from this anymore. And I need you to understand this part, dear child." No one understands what's happening to them. They can't explain it to friends without sounding crazy. They can't put it into normal words because it doesn't feel normal to them. It feels spiritual. It feels like something designed. It feels like a thread pulling them toward a door they've been avoiding. So they do what people do when they're terrified of truth. They try to suppress it. But the angels say suppression turned into suffering because you can't bury what's alive. You can't pretend you didn't feel what you felt. You can't erase a soul recognition just because it's inconvenient. And now, what they tried to keep control is becoming uncontrollable. They are drowning in longing they don't know how to handle. Not just desire, need. The kind of need that makes a person sit in silence and stare at nothing because their spirit is calling out for home. And home isn't a location anymore for them. Home is you. That's what's breaking them. They're seeing your face in strangers, just a resemblance, a single smile, the shape of a moment, and the picture, the way you're hearing your name in random places. They're catching repeating sounds that pull them back into the same thought. What if I lost the one person who made me feel real? And here's the haunting part. They keep wondering if you feel it too. They keep asking themselves, do they know how badly I miss them? Are they thinking of me right now? Did I wait too long? And the angels answer softly, again and again. Yes, you feel it too. You've been sensing it. That's why you couldn't fully close the chapter. That's why your heart kept pausing at the same line. That's why, even on days you're fine, you still feel a quiet pull, like something unfinished is moving beneath the surface. The angels want you to know something that might surprise you. Your prayers have been covering them more than they realize. Even if you didn't call it intercession, your love has been speaking in the spirit. Your longing has been rising like a quiet request to heaven. If this is real, make it real. And now their spirit is responding, groaning, restless, unsettled, because the part of them that recognizes you is waking up and demanding alignment. They're praying without words now, not always on their knees, not always in a religious way, but in that raw way people pray when they don't know what else to do, when the chest feels heavy, when sleep won't come, when the heart keeps repeating one name like a plea. They're tired of pretending, tired of being fine, tired of trying to control what was never meant to be controlled. They thought success could replace you. They thought attention from many could numb the loss of one. They thought new conversations could cover the empty space. But the angels say the emptiness kept growing because it wasn't a missing person. It was a missing presence. With you, they didn't have to perform. With you, they could breathe. With you, something in them felt seen. And now, They're suffocating in rooms where they once felt proud, because pride is a loud house with no warmth. So they break down behind closed doors. They smile in public, but cry in secret. They scroll old messages like they're reading scripture, searching for the moment they lost their way. They type things and delete them. They start to call and stop. They rehearse apologies in their head, then swallow them because fear speaks up. What if they don't want me anymore? That fear is real, but the angels say love is becoming louder than fear. They're being humbled, not punished. Their ego is being stripped because this connection can't be rebuilt on control. It has to be rebuilt on truth, and truth requires softness. Truth requires courage. Truth requires them to admit what they've tried to deny. They never actually moved on. Their soul never signed the goodbye. That's why they're restless now. They wake up thinking of you. They fall asleep praying about you. And in between, they carry waves of guilt, love, regret, hope, desire, and desperation, all crashing together. They never knew love could undo them like this. They never knew one person could become the doorway back to the best version of themselves. Because that's another secret the angels are revealing. You didn't just love them. You awakened them. You touched places that were closed for years. You saw through their walls without making them feel small. You spoke to their wounds with gentleness. You made them believe in something deeper again. And now they're scared because they can finally see what they had. And they can finally see how easily they could have lost it forever. The angels say they're on the edge of confession, on the edge of surrender, on the edge of a breakthrough that will require them to stop acting casual about what was holy. They've been seeing flashes of a future, visions that feel too real to ignore. Not just memories, but moments that haven't happened yet. And it terrifies them because they know if they step toward you, everything changes. The old patterns die. The old pride collapses. The old identity that kept them safe falls apart. But dear child, hear this. That collapse is not destruction. It's transformation. The angels keep showing them signs, pressing their spirit gently but firmly, like heaven is saying, go back, speak up, tell the truth, because love like this was never meant to be buried. It was meant to build. It was meant to heal. It was meant to mature them into someone who knows how to keep what is precious. And yes, they're afraid you won't open the door again. They're afraid you've moved on. They're afraid you've stopped loving them. But the angels say the thread was never cut, only stretched. You were never disconnected, only distant. And God has been holding the cord, even in the silence, even through storms, even while they ran. That's why it keeps resurrecting. That's why it won't stay buried. Because it's not just attraction. It's not just emotion. It's something anchored in the spirit, something that requires an answer. So here's what the angels want you to carry today. Dear child, without forcing a storyline, without making a prediction, without losing yourself inside someone else's process. They are losing control, yes, but it's because God is finally getting control. And when they come back, it won't be light. It won't be casual. It won't be careless. It will be different. It will be softer. It will be honest. And if your heart has been sensing that something is shifting behind the scenes, if you felt the atmosphere changing, if you felt a quiet return forming in the unseen. Then take a breath, hold your dignity, keep your peace. Let the angels do what they do best. Guide what's meant for you without you having to chase it. Because the truth is, beloved, love like this doesn't disappear. It matures, it confronts, it transforms, and when it finally speaks, it won't be because they suddenly became brave overnight. It will be because they became tired of living a life that no longer fits without you in it. They're not sleeping the way they used to. Nights stretch longer now. I feel them pacing when the house is silent, walking back and forth, replaying memories like scenes they can't pause. They keep imagining what they would say if they had just 5 uninterrupted minutes with you. Not to impress you, not to convince you, just to finally tell the truth. And in those imagined moments, they don't hold anything back. They say everything they swallowed when pride told them to stay quiet. Everything they laughed off in front of friends, claiming they didn't care, while secretly holding onto it like a lifeline. The angels show me that their heart has been full for a long time, and now it's overflowing. They miss your voice in ways they don't fully understand. Not just the sound of it, but the safety in it. They miss your laughter, the way it softened rooms. They miss the way you prayed when life got heavy, how you spoke to God like he was near, not distant. They miss how you looked at them like they were more than their mistakes, more than their worst days. You saw them as someone becoming, someone sacred in progress, and that look changed them. Even now, it follows them. You loved them in a way that didn't demand explanations. You touched their wounds without asking them to bleed for you first. You stayed gentle where others were impatient, and the angels are very clear about this. That kind of love doesn't disappear. It doesn't fade with time. It settles into the soul and lives. It becomes unforgettable. They tried to forget you. Truly, they did. They tried to convince themselves it was over, that it was just a phase, just emotion, just timing. But every attempt to move forward pulled them right back to your name. They tried dating others, talking to others, smiling through conversations that felt hollow. And no matter how kind or attractive or available those people were, something always felt off. Because comparison kept happening without permission. Their heart kept whispering, "This isn't home." Home! That's the word their soul keeps returning to. Not comfort, not convenience. Home! And their heart knows where that feeling lived. It lived with you. I hear scripture moving through this like a quiet current, deep calling to deep, not as poetry, but as reality. Their deep is calling your deep again. Their soul is searching for the sound of the love it once recognized and then ran from. And that sound is getting louder, louder than distraction, louder than pride, louder than fear.